Welcome to the Influency Podcast. I'm Hadar, and today we are going to listen to a real-life story about English success. You are going to listen to an interview with one of my students who is going to tell you what is possible now that English is no longer an obstacle. Let's listen. Very excited about today because we are going to interview an amazing person. Her name is Osiris, and she is one of my students, and she is going to tell you her transformation story and what is possible for her now that English is no longer an obstacle. Welcome, 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 everyone.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm so happy to see you. I missed your lovely face, and it's good to see you here. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. I really appreciate it. I know you're very busy, so.
No, thank you so much for the invitation. I remember in March when I was about to join the new sound program, I was listening to different speakers that you had, the former students that had taken the course. And I was amazed of how fluent and how confident they sounded. And I never imagined to be able to have a conversation with you. So thank you so much for the invitation.
And now there is someone looking at you being like, I can't imagine being this fluent and confident going live in front of, 200 people. So it's so amazing how the world works. And let's talk a little bit really about what it was like for you before. So before that, maybe just a few words about you, about, where you live right now, where you are originally from. And then I'll ask you about how it was for you back then.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Osiris and I'm from Colombia. I'm currently living in the US. I moved here 9 months ago, about 9 months ago. And it was my second time actually coming to the US. I had the opportunity to come to the US for the first time 5 years ago. I came here through an exchange program to be an au pair. And for those that don't know, an au pair is a child care provider that had the opportunity to travel across the US and most importantly to have this interaction with English. So I took that decision and that really took me from my comfort zone. It was my first time leaving home and it was my first time really facing the real world in a totally different culture.
Wow.
And I can tell you that it was something unique because aside from the language barrier that you need to face as an immigrant, you also need to face things like a different weather, a different culture. So everything was new for me. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's like during those 2 years, I never felt that I was close to be fluent or reaching that fluency. And all the progress that I had, like meaningful progress, happened over the last 9 months. So, and I know that your program, was an important part of that progress.
So let's talk about the difference, whether it's the program or what was happening before. Like, what was that thing that made you decide to make a difference? What was the challenge you were struggling with before those 9 months?
Yeah, so I was feeling really self-conscious of my voice. I was lacking of clarity. It was hard for me to have a conversation because all the time I was looking for words. I was getting stuck. And at the beginning of this year, I decided to take that decision to go to a public speaking club that is called Toastmasters, and they give you feedback. And I remember when they were telling me your speeches are good, they are really well structured, but we cannot understand you because you are lacking of clarity. So that was an important trigger for me to join the new sound program.
How did that make you feel, like hearing that?
I I felt disappointed because I was really putting so much work on the speeches and I was rehearsing the speeches so much that I was putting too much work and time. And I remember when I received that feedback, we were about to start with the boot camp in March.
Mm.
And I feel that joining the bootcamp and listening to you for 2 weeks really make a huge impact in my mindset, and also to understand that it's okay to make mistakes.
Mm.
And there is no another way. Like, making mistakes is the only way to have an important breakthrough.
Yeah. First of all, to understand that mistakes are really a natural part of speaking. But I love what you said about not to be so hard on yourself, because we get to be so hard on ourselves in so many things. So it's so important to be mindful of that and be like, okay, moving on, right? Like, I made a mistake. I got this comment. Someone asked me to repeat myself. I don't know. I mispronounced something. Moving on, right? Like, that's okay, next time, right? And have that attitude, which I think you very much did kind of like acquire. So let's fast forward till today. Talk to me a little bit about where you are today and how you feel about English, about communicating.
Yeah. So recently I went through a round of interviews because one of the goals that I had was able to find a job here in the US. And it's like everything was connected because I started the New Sound program in April, and I received my work permit in June to start
Wow.
looking for a job here in the US. And we were finishing the program in July. So that was one of the main goals, like be able to be brave enough to have a conversation by phone, and ultimately to have a conversation with the hiring manager. And I feel that you, as an immigrant, you always going to have to work harder and that way to be able to excel.
Yeah.
And it's not a different place. Yeah.
And tell us about the job.
Yeah, so I'm an associate banker right now. I'm working for Chase, and I really wanted to find a job that was involved with customer service because I knew that I really wanted to keep practicing with people.
Yeah.
So like a job where I'm going to have to speak a lot. And basically I'm going to be doing transactions like wire transfers, deposit, cashing checks. So it's really more like the financial field. And I'm super happy. I remember when I was going for the interview with the hiring manager in person, I remember watching one of your videos about mindset. And that really helped me and gave me the momentum to go for that interview. And accepting that no matter if I wouldn't guarantee the job, I showed myself there and I was able to do it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the job and working for this company where it has a really vibe of inclusion and diversity. Actually, all my coworkers, they are from different countries. So I really understand working for them that they value these different backgrounds and different languages.
It is so important, and I have no doubt that that gives you like more confidence to show up like yourself, because you feel like you're not the one that is singled out, in the workplace. And I think
Yeah.
so important. So I remember like the first time I saw one of your, not the first time, but the first time I really noticed like your work inside of New Sound is where you posted one of your speeches from Toastmasters. And and then you were very active in the public speaking aspect, like making videos and the speeches and the monologues and all of that. So tell me about why you're so drawn to it, and maybe for people who want to improve their English and maybe even afraid, like why public speaking or that aspect of what you did inside of New Sound and Toastmasters, how has it helped you really?
Yeah, I knew that I needed to do something different this time. And I knew that I couldn't make the same mistakes that I did previously during my 2 years. So it's like sometimes you need to put yourself in situations that are difficult, that are challenging, but that give you the urgency to improve in a shorter period of time. And I knew that public speaking was not going to be something easy. And I knew that public speaking, or the people that were going to give me feedback, were not going to be like really nice. But I accepted that. And I think that that is really important to look for something else. And no, I mean, it's important, of course, like to record yourself, but I feel that as many people you are exposed and as many people you have conversation really is going to be an important breakthrough for you in your English. So I really wanted to do that, and I really wanted to challenge myself to do something different.
I love that so much. And like every time you feel, okay, now it's easy. And, in the English learning process, we often see it. At first, it's really challenging. We feel uncomfortable. And then we get used to it. And then it feels comfortable. And a lot of times, people like to stay there, but then they're not seeing progress because it's safe, it's comfortable. But to me, it seems like you're the kind of person who is like, okay, I'm comfortable. How can I make it a bit more uncomfortable? How can I feel scared, feel challenged so that I know I can move forward, right? So, what would you say to someone who is too comfortable, and is afraid to getting outside of that comfort zone?
I would say that it's important to take challenges in this life, and you are going to survive. And every time I feel fear, because fear is always going to be with you. And every time that I feeling that, I remember a sentence or a part of this book from Elizabeth Gilbert from Big Magic. That is like, you can invite fear. Fear is going to be with you in the car, but it's going to be just observing. And you are going to take cover, and you are going to drive, and you are going to take decisions for you, and just depends on you. So I think that it's important to have that
Yeah,
in your mind.
love that.
But
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, you have this life, and I thought you deserve to be heard, and you deserve to have a wonderful life if you are moving an English speaking country, and you deserve to fit there. And English is an important part of the process. We cannot change that.
Yeah.
And I thought that challenging yourself every day is one of the most wonderful things that you can do.
So tell me a little bit about how you kind of like manage all the things. Because as I know, you have a lot of passions, you have a lot of hobbies, you like drawing and climbing, right? So it seems like you're doing a lot of things for your personal kind of like well-being and interest. How do you manage it all? Because I know that you do a lot of English practice as well. So do you mind giving some tips for people who want to add more practice or even find time for hobbies, but they're unable to manage their times, or it feels like it's impossible for them to do it?
Yeah, I think that an important part is to have a plan and plan in advance what you are going to be doing over the upcoming weeks. And you are always going to find time to practice English. That's what you really want to have in your life. And you really need to welcome English and make it part of your life. So I know that it's hard because like you need to work, you need to dedicate time to your family, but also you want to have hobbies. So I think that it's important to have really good habits and showing up yourself every single day and make a plan. I know that can take time during the weekends. You can find a space to do it, but you are going to notice the progress and the changes if you truly have a plan for you.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think it has to be like have a plan, because you can. If you don't have a plan, then you just end up doing whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times it's just, like the environment dictates what you're going to do instead of your goals or, your focus or your priorities. And I really like that what you said. And I think also doing the work, showing up every day. Do you practice every day, every other day? How do you practice?
Yeah, I practice every single day. And I record myself every single day. And when I don't do it, actually, I feel that something is missing.
Yeah.
Because it became a habit for me. And I truly enjoy doing that. The magic of recording yourself is like you are not going to be able to be more self sufficient and catching your mistakes, but also be able to see how much progress you have. And sometimes I like to watch the very first video that I recorded and seeing me now, how I'm speaking. I think that is truly inspirational, and it is good to feeling proud of yourself for all the work that that you have done. So yeah, I'm practicing every single day. And I know that it's too much to improve. And I know that there's so much work ahead, but I also understand that this takes time. And you are going to have an amazing course, but you also have to show up yourself and you need to put the work if you really want to see the results. And if you notice that your muscles are hurting or you notice that you are tired, it's because you are having a change and you are having progress.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Like I love that way, it's part of the get comfortable with uncomfortable, and this is so good. What was most challenging for you during New Sound? What was like a sound or an element of speech that you really, really like had to took some time to figure out and to master?
I would say that the TH sounds and that sound, and I'm still practicing the sounds because it's really tricky. And especially the transitions with the R sound, with the L sound. So I would say that the TH sound like really took me time and I still practicing constantly to master the sound. So yeah, TH sound is one of the sounds that is challenging for me because we don't have it in Spanish. And sometimes like you tend to forget to stick your tongue out. So yeah, TH sound. It took me some time.
It does not feel natural to stick the tongue out.
Yeah.
But again, it's just, Osiris is saying, like, I'm still practicing it. It's still something that I struggled with. It's not something that you solve in one day, not even in 3 months sometimes. And then you just need repetition. But also focus, because sometimes it's not the most important thing. Sometimes just working on feeling comfortable in front of the public and speaking, like you are now, with full confidence and expressing yourself and complex ideas. I think that is the number one thing, probably much more important than the TH. So, like, I love that. I'm going to open it up for questions. If anyone has questions for a series. Yeah, Tanya says, it's not about sounding perfect. The confidence is the most important thing. Exactly. And I think that we need to remember that confidence is something that we need to work on. And like Osiris was putting herself out there and going to Toastmasters, which, by the way, is, it's an amazing platform, but it's also very challenging because you get a lot of feedback, and then
Yeah.
you have to take it in the right way. How did you deal with the feedback / what could be perceived as criticism?
Yeah, I think that it's important to recognize the work that you are doing. And most of the speakers that are going to do the master, actually, they are native English speakers. So I think that it's important to give yourself the value that you deserve, because even though English is not your first language, you are showing up there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think there is a lot of appreciation for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Someone is asking, maybe you can comment from your experience. How should I increase my vocabulary? What have you done to increase your vocabulary? Because obviously you have full access to your vocabulary. So share with us what you have done.
So I was making some mistakes in order to retrieve vocabulary. And I think that the best strategy that you can use is actually give context and repetition. Repetition is really important, like 20 or 30 times. Repeat the word. And most importantly, give context. Use a lot of examples. So actually that word can stick and it becomes more natural. Another thing that I noticed when I was rehearsing for the speeches or the minor roles that I had in those masters, when I was memorizing and when I was repeating, those words or those expressions became eventually natural in my speech.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to repeat them anymore, or I was not forgetting those words. So they went from passive vocabulary to active vocabulary by repeating. So repetition is really important in the process.
My queen, you speak my language. But okay, so Sirius had to memorize a lot of texts for the speeches, and I had to memorize a lot of text for my acting school activities, exercises, like scenes. And we both agree that because you repeat it so many times in context, it becomes yours, right? So that's a great way to learn new words. but not memorize in isolation, like in context.
Yeah.
But also, serious, agree with me that it's also helping with grammar, because like you have certain structures that you memorize and that you can prepare for, and then it helps you with kind of like getting it right, because it's already kind of like ingrained in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like I used to just listen like different words, like having this list, but I was not doing the work or the repetition and putting the words in context. And you really need to do that. You really need to do that work and go through that process if you want to have that aptitude vocabulary and you
Yeah.
in your daily speech.
All right. We have another good question. Do you see change in people responding back to you?
Yeah, that also was an important part of knowing that I was having progress because I remember that I was really unclear, especially in my endings, because in Spanish, we don't have these consonant clusters. So I was dropping sounds. And I remember that people, they might ask me to repeat like 2 or 3 times. And after the course and doing this work and going through this process, um, that doesn't happen anymore. So yeah, it is different. It's different, like the way that you are projecting your voice, the way that you are expressing yourself, and the way that you want to convey the message. People also react different towards you.
I think that people respond to when they see someone who is aligned with how they feel and who they are, because it's not about the vocabulary, it's really about, human interaction. And also, when you feel confident, you project confidence, and that gets a different response as well, for sure. Okay, so we have a question here. What do you recommend to do on the days where you don't feel up to practicing, or when you don't feel like it? Basically, maybe when you lose motivation.
Yeah, I think that that's going to happen. And no matter how in love you are in English, I think that you are going to feel tired. What I do is trying to see myself reaching that goal and trying to see myself in that scenario where I'm happy, where I knew that I had achieved something important. And I think that is also important to remind yourself that you are doing an amazing job
Ah,
and you need to accept yourself the way that you are. And I had those days, and when I was going through the course, I think that one important part of the course is that everything works with a community, and there are people always rooting for you and being super supportive. Because I remember, even though I was doing the work and I was showing up myself every single day, and I was drilling sounds, at some point, I thought that I was not having progress, but I remember that I had this amazing conversation with one of the members, and she told me, "No, you're having progress. I noticed because I remember when I saw your very first video, and now seeing you how you speak, you definitely had progress." So working with this community and having connection is a really important part of the process and your course.
I think the community is a huge reason why the program is so successful, because people are there for each other, and there is this synergy where you're not practicing on your own. It's like everyone is adding that energy of, like, self-development and personal improvement and English enthusiasm. Like all of that is working together, that you catch it. It's just so contagious that you can't but just, like get in there and do the work and see progress. And of course, like the emotional aspect of you're not alone, and everyone's in the same boat as you, and everyone's feeling the same feelings as you. And it's not just you with your issues and challenges and second guessing and all of that. It's everyone. So maybe the problem's not with you. It's just the human brain trying to process communicating in a second language and dealing with the demands of society, right? That like demand us to be perfect and to get it right and to sound like a native and all of that stuff that prevent us from really, really thriving and succeeding. So thank you so much.
Yeah. That is something really important that you just mentioned, because I thought that I was the only one going through the same. And you are going to find that there are a lot of people that you are in the same boat. and you are there to support each other. So I think that the community is a vital part of the process. And I never found a course not even similar or close to what you offered, because I remember back in Colombia, everything was really focused just in grammar structure, filling the blanks. But I never heard any teacher talking about the sounds. And the sounds are a really vital part of the process for you to sound more confident and sound with more clarity. So I would say that the new sound program is just simply unique.
Thank you so much. And and I'm so honored that you were in this program and a part of this incredible community. So for people who are hearing you and they're like where you were 10 months ago, and they're seeing you now so confident and expressive, what would you tell them if they don't know if this program is for them? What would you tell them?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, this program is unique. It's really well structured. You are going to go through two really important sounds in English that are going to impact your clarity. Oh, I forgot to mention something important, and it's the mindset module. I probably was the module where actually I had this inner conversation of what was holding me back. And I know that you might have doubts about the program, because most of the people that took the new sound program, they were trying many things in the past, and they were looking for something different. So I would say that you should give yourself the opportunity to try something different. And the fact that the program works wonder doesn't mean that you don't have to do the work, because you need to show up every single day and you need to drill those sounds. So there is a lot of work to do, but it's great to have this supported community. And I remember when I was about to give one of the speeches in Toastmasters, I wrote Elena and she gave me a wonderful feedback. And also part of the program is doing these check-ins. I think that we had like 2 or 3 of how are you doing, how we can help you. So I never had like any of these things in any English course I had before. So the community and the support is something that made this course unique. And I truly advise you to give yourself the opportunity to have a change in your life.
I'm so moved. So thank you
No,
for sharing that.
no, thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, of course. Like you're so full of wisdom. And I think so many takeaways. It's really like not only inspiring, but really gives a lot of clarity around the next steps. Like put yourself out there, practice, plan, like all, do it anyway. All of those things that people are like, yeah, I know, but it's not really going to make a difference. No, it will. Look at Osiris. What are your plans going forward? Let's say 1 year from today.
Yeah, in terms of English practice, I know that I'm gonna keep practicing, but I know that I already have an important foundation. And my dream is be able to terminate or to finish a master degree in data analytics in the future. And I know that English is going to be an important part of the process. So actually, another win that I had during the New Sound program was being admitted for a data analytics course. So that is my dream and that is my goal, and keep improving because there is a lot of work to do ahead.
And I have no doubt that you're going to check off all of these goals and have many more that, you're going to achieve as well. Osiris, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation and for your time. And I wish you all the best. It was a pleasure seeing all the work that you've put in and how you were with the community and all the things that you gave to us as well. You talked about what you've gotten, but you also gave so much. So thank you so much for being such an incredible part. And that's it. I love you and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Heather, for everything. Like, you really changed my life. I'm really grateful that I was able to find you in my path. I'm just getting emotional. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much. The feeling is mutual. Take care, and Osiris, have a good day.
Bye-bye, Heather.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.